Yeah. So somebody, so so somebody put out. I want to talk about this first off the bat. Somebody put out what was there's Bio Buddies as the nickname for your fans, and what's the other one?
I did see that. I don't remember what it was.
Oh, Bio Fans.
I think Bio Buddies is cute, but
Yeah,
let's fans first.
but I think somebody put out Bio Bookworms for the fans of the podcast.
Yeah, yeah. Oh well, we got to get a pod. I got to get the podcast going.
Yeah.
So
Go
welcome.
ahead.
Everybody.
You introduce it. Sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say welcome everybody that watches. We had an excellent guest, and I'm going to try and tack it on to the end of tonight's show, and then and then we may use some of the stuff in a special that we may put together. But it was one of the mothers, one of the central stories in the book, the mother. And it was. I think it went really well. It was
It was my first experience booking a guest, and it wasn't that hard.
No.
So I was joking with BioDude a few weeks ago when we were going to do Chaos as the next book, and I said maybe I could get Charlie Manson because I had good experience booking this guest, but I don't think that's going to happen.
No, but you know what? That leads right into the wrap up portion of the show. We might as well do that real quick. He got Cullinane got Fred Couples. Did you hear the show today?
Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It was really good. I hurt my back and I was watching my daughter all day today, and was in and out, had the podcast going, and it just started automatically, and it was this Fred Couples talk. I must have missed like maybe the first 5 minutes. Was there an introduction, or did he just go right into golf talk?
I think you just went right into it.
That's what I was
saving the interview, so I was bouncing around and
the
I
interview.
still have to finish the calls.
The interview is exactly what you would expect it to be. It was an interview with a golf guy, an old golf guy. It's actually my dad's favorite golfer too.
Oh,
cool. But the show was fantastic, and I do have some notes. Nothing.
So I have a theory about the Tom Shattuck call. That was funny, but I have a theory because Kirkwood the show after he had Shattuck in.
Mm-hmm. He comes in angry.
Yeah, comes in angry. So I have this theory that Shattuck saying he doesn't know that one guy is what caused him to be so grumpy.
He's hanging on to it the whole show, and they wind up calling everybody to figure it all out. It's not a theory at all. I absolutely. So I've loved Shattuck for a long time. I think my favorite part about it is that he has an attractive wife, and then he takes shit well too. Like he
does. Yeah.
It's fantastic. He came in a little hot. I think he came in a little hot. Like he didn't need that much.
He had too many espressos.
No shit. But that was about it. That everything else was just so on, and I thought
I appreciated him too because the way he definitely reminds me of someone with ADHD. The way he bounces from his thoughts.
I do. I do like Burn Barrel too, and I like his Twitter because he lets me shit.
His wife does have a nice voice.
What's that?
His wife has a nice voice.
Yeah, and she seems. Yeah, well, she's hot too. So you got that going. You got that going. So I love it. I love that he's finally in. I know that they were trying to. I know that Kirk had been trying to sort of bring him in. I think Kirk's doing the same thing with Blind Mike's producer, and that's great too because that guy. I like listening to him on Callahan show.
You like Craig?
Do I like Craig? Yeah, I do. I think he's pretty funny. Actually, he's real dry. His humor is real dry, and it's pretty good. He plays it off of Jerry pretty good. It's just Jerry would be a pain in the ass to work with.
Yeah, I don't not because of his political beliefs, but
not even. It's just the way he barks at him about shit that's it wasn't even his fault.
Ironhead. Can you do it, Jerry? Do you do your Jerry?
I don't do it. I try not to. No, it's a.
Why? Just do it. Let's hear it. You can't. Okay.
I could. I'm trying to. The munches are garbage.
That's great, dude.
Yeah. Well. So, anyways, so the day he comes in angry. Was short show. I thought he was angry because it was a short show because Colin Ain's dictating the hours of the show.
That might be part of it.
Yeah. So it was just a rough one, but it was a short show, and that helped me out because I wound up throwing my back out.
I mean, yeah, we're so spoiled. We think that an hour and a half show is short.
That's true too, and I'm glad you bring that up because I haven't even listened to the free show or the other show. Like I didn't even know that even existed until they talked about it because I have.
Do you get that guilt that you're not a true fan?
I have it all the time. I absolutely do, and I've talked about it before. I think I talked.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say that one episode that I did by myself. I think I talked about it a lot. Yeah. I do. I feel like I should be watching. I really do. I feel like I should be watching Shark Tank. I feel like I should be paying a little bit more attention to Barstool Sports just because they talk about it.
I remember because I remember when we first started this show, you wrote like you were ready. That was the rule.
Yeah.
Only read books Kirk read.
Well, that was the thing. That was the point. I mean, that was the end, I suppose. I
think Kirk would find this book interesting.
I would love for him to read it. Yeah, I mean, that'd be cool. But yeah, and Rose, the mom was so generous with her time too, and we got to meet her son Leo, who features very prominently in the book. He's the boy with the green straws. Is that the name of the title of that chapter? Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you feel about my questions about the author? She went good like 5 minutes about him.
Oh yeah, no, it was good. It was good. Actually, what I wanted to bring up is that I didn't start recording right off the bat. It was an accident, right? Obviously,
yeah, I noticed. But it's no big deal.
No, I got it right at the perfect time, really. So
yeah, because there was a little like we're reading each other's body language.
Exactly, and you could see it all over all of our faces too. And then once we started to get comfortable, I realized we weren't recording, and I hit record. And it's at the perfect time where she's talking about where she comes from and what I think she's actually talking about her website, which is something that we should mention a few times.
It's well, to be honest with you, I don't know if I mentioned this when I said I booked her after the last show, but I've been actually following her for like 2 or 3 years.
I know. I mean, I kind of figured
not Twitter, I knew about her.
We had talked about the neurobook before we talked about a book club. We had talked about that book back when we talked about the masking thing the first time around.
Yeah,
like back about a year ago now, actually.
She is like you can just, she's like sort of like a knight for autistic people.
Yeah, and obviously she has her head around the whole subject and everything. It's really enlightening. But the other thing that I absolutely have to start doing is listening to the podcast that she recommends.
Oh yes, totally.
I mean, you
should follow her account.
I will. I got to get back into Twitter. I've been out. It's just like I said. I think I told somebody that I don't have enough time in the day, emotional bandwidth to do like the Twitter life and like just even stay involved. Like
it was a lot easier. It was a lot easier when we were home all the time.
Yeah, and even like this summer when like I didn't have to be engaged with the kids. And, I'm making the lunches every morning again, all that jazz. And it's just too much. It just takes too much out of you. So, and then I hurt my back. But things
you need your alone time, too.
And on top of all that, work is crazy. So, but this all brings up an interesting thing, which is getting back to the wrap-up portion of our show. We're doing our little web thought thing again. We're getting away from it. But I mean, are we saying like complete flame out burnout with KMS Reloaded? I mean, the world was his oyster, and it seems like he is gone dark, to say the least.
Definitely. He is really mentally ill, though. That is.
Now that's saying something because SIG is not easy to diagnose over Twitter or anything.
Yeah. Like, and he admits it. So yeah. But like, it's that highs and the lows.
Right. Very bad. Yeah.
When he was on, he was just like a lot, like that energy.
It's too bad. Like I really thought that the second go of it when Kirk kind of laid it out, just be the goofball. I thought like that he could do. I thought he was going to be able to do that. But who knows? Like you said, it is. Well, you didn't say this. I've said this. It's always been they're a home for the crazies, so to speak.
Oh yeah, I mean, but that's like it normalizes it.
Yeah, it does help too. It really does help.
I think I appreciate Kirk the most is like, in all seriousness, he cares about it, but he'll make fun of people for it.
With normalizing it.
Like that's just treating them like anybody else.
Yeah, exactly, and he does do that across the board, and he doesn't get credit for it.
I can see how people that are a little more sensitive wouldn't care for Kirk.
Oh yeah, I understand that too. So he doesn't get credit for it. He doesn't get credit for half the stuff he does, and that brings up Barstool. It seems like that they're taking a turn.
I think so. I'm going to make a prediction. I think he's probably stopped 20 suicides.
Maybe. I like personally, like with just like
because if somebody reaches out with that kind of stuff,
yeah,
he takes it seriously.
Well, I mean, Well,
didn't Snell say it was because of the show that he didn't kill himself?
Yeah, but it wasn't. Dave was taking credit for saving somebody else's life. But yeah. Well, the show is. Let's put it this way: hundreds of lives have been saved because of KMS, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Friendships made, lives saved. It really is. I mean, I don't know if anybody complains about it.
It's like a nice community.
I think it is too. I really do like the community. Oh, that brings up a good point. So what are we doing about these tickets? Are we going to try and go to this thing? I mean, it's...
Me and Boomer were talking about that. It's a tough ask. I feel bad leaving her without the kid for a night by herself. What I can act proactively and sort of sure up some sort of accommodations for her where she has help. Like, talk to someone and have them do it.
So middle of March?
Yeah, middle of March. March 29th.
My wife's birthday is March 5th.
Yeah, so that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, but dude, you don't say that I can get her those for Christmas, for her birthday.
No, I thought, I really, if she comes down, I've looked a couple times. She's putting Frankie to bed tonight. I just thought it would have been a great night to introduce her to the world in general.
Yeah.
But, again, she probably fell asleep. And again, like, she really doesn't want to be part of it. It just so happens that we're reading a book about kind of her wheelhouse. Both in the sense that she with it.
Yeah, we definitely wouldn't have her. I really think we should do it maybe like Saturday or maybe Sunday we could do a...
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, like a special.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I would like to do it to wrap it up and then either start Chaos or do a one-off episode where it's like a smut book, because got a lot of reaction with the idea of a smut book, but not we could do 50 Shades of Grey, but I don't even consider that a smut book. That's something that I want to take apart. Like, I would love to read it and take it apart.
No, it would be fun. We could do read The Godfather.
I didn't even know it was a book, honest to God. That would be good then. I haven't watched it in 25 years probably.
Yeah.
I watched it at my cousin's house, and like, I mean, I was still in high school.
You're not a big TV guy though, right?
I never was. Well, I mean, like, I spent most of my time in a closet taking things apart. I mean, kind of really did. The more I look back on it. So, Yeah, no, I didn't watch a lot of TV at all. I do watch a lot of movies though, and we had like HBO. Or I hacked HBO early on. I started like getting HBO. Different.
Dude, the the funny thing is, I used to could get like Sex in the City, and there'd be like sex scenes and stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah.
12-year-old Zig liked Sex in the City.
I love that talk too. Like, and Kirk goes into that stuff all the time. Like that. I mean, that's definitely like it was VH1 for me. It was the VH1 and the MTV like overnight after midnight, and then like if I really needed something like stimulating, it was like the Cinemax After Dark with Shannon Tweed was definitely. I'm pretty sure that was one of the girls with Shannon Tweed.
Oh,
Not these were ladies. These were ladies. Say the least.
So Aaron's Judge it's the bottom of the ninth.
Oh yeah, the Yankees and the Red Sox are playing. That's probably why we don't have any viewers tonight.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Shannon becomes like a recurring guest, and we talk about other things than just autism. That would be cool.
It was really nice. She was nice of her to give us that time too. Let me see what else we had for the wrap up show. Let me see what else I put down.
She's just a really nice person too.
She seems like a really nice person. I did think it was interesting. Kirk hit upon it a little bit, which is the Thursday night NFL games. I do remember when they moved Monday Night Football from ABC to ESPN, and it really was big. It was like it was all that we talked about for a couple weeks.
Didn't they have Dennis Miller in the booth?
They had Dennis Miller in the booth. I don't know if that was during when the move happened or not, but they did, and I like that. They had Rush Limbaugh doing commentary too, and I loved that. Like he was
Rush Limbaugh like a father figure for you?
I think so. The more I think about it, absolutely, yeah. Like, definitely.
Did you feel sad when he died?
Oh, I pulled the car over and cried when I found out he was diagnosed with cancer, and then the day that he died, yeah,
that is very interesting.
And then I got pretty close, like for the year anniversary, remembering it. I really have a lot of strong feelings for him.
Our conversation from last week, you remember?
What's that?
The conversation from last week we had.
Oh,
and sort of like, how old were you when you first listened to him?
It would have been so. When he really pops into my mind is I remember really panicking about NAFTA, the North American Free Trade. So that
you were like 20.
I was like 13, 12. Like this is.
Think about this. Rush Limbaugh is Howard Stern to Kirk to you.
Right. That's exactly it. Yes, that's exactly it.
Yeah, I bet Kirk will get sad when Howard Stern dies.
Yeah, and the upshot is that like Rush never changed. Like he was always the same.
He's always a dick.
Well, that's what I was about to say. And the thing about it is that people think he's way worse than he really was. But I get it, and I'm not even.
I won't go after your dad.
Well, you know what? Though? You know what's funny though? The first time, so I love Blind Mike. I've said many times how much I love Blind Mike. I think he's hilarious. I didn't realize how sensitive he seems to be. He's more sensitive than I thought he was. But
yeah, you called him chunky one time, and he blocked you.
It was a joke, and I guess we got over it, and that's fine, and everything else. But like,
I don't know. I think he's still sad.
So, but what I was saying is that oh geez, now I lost my train of thought. What was it? Blind Mike was what was I talking about? What was I saying?
I don't know.
Oh, you distracted me. Anyways, well, I love Blind Mike. I say that all the time. So he's great.
Well, you were saying how sensitive he is.
Yeah, no, I can't remember now. It doesn't even matter. let's see what else was on. Oh, the Shattuck stuff I know we talked about, but he comes up again, and then he called. He called in today.
I like this stuff.
It was
when he talked to. He's an interesting family. Like when he told the story that I believe that story because my parents owned an old house growing up, and you probably knew like he had the de-lead the whole house.
Letting, yeah. Oh yeah, sure. Oh, they there was an episode of.
Have you ever done that?
Not the de. Yeah, actually, I did do the de-letting with my dad. Like, I don't know, a long time ago. It was one house up in Hampton Beach. It was like a dentist's place, and you want to know how?
How much did you get paid?
Nothing. I was doing it for my dad, with my dad. I was like, probably 15, 16, and I didn't even have a respirator on. Like, but dude, so to get rid of stuff.
Low did you have low I or head?
I don't know. We didn't test for anything at that point. So this is early on. But even early on, to do that de-letting thing, the garbage bags have to be like double bagged. They have to be taped and bagged, and then they're dumped in like a special dump too. $175,000 is probably the low end. Like it's like
my father-in-law did it to his own house. Like because he had this house that his family owned since like the 1920s. It was originally a doctor from the 1800s because there's this slope that goes down, so he could bring his horse.
Yeah.
So they turned it into stairs, but it was slope before, and the basement was like where the horse lived because he was like the only doctor in town.
I did a home inspection with my dad in Wareham, which is just across town. It was something like that. It was like the richest guy's house in town, and it had all that type of stuff. It even had like the maid had her own entrance. It was just like yeah, it was really neat. It was really neat.
No, it is. No, I like old houses.
But that one had lead in it too. Oh, God.
Like the installation, and like there's always a draft, and it's always cold.
Yeah.
Well,
your place. Well, how old's your house?
1950s.
Yeah, 50s. Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm talking like my house. My house was from 1796. I grew up in.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like the kitchen was from 1796 and in the dining room, but there was an addition in like 1860 to it.
Yeah.
There was 8 fireplaces.
Oh wow! Oh my God!
So because every bedroom just about had a fireplace.
What did you guys heat with them or?
No. There was like 2 that we would use.
Yeah.
One in the kitchen and then one in the. My parents put an addition on when my brother was born. It was a big addition with a nice fireplace. That would like when we would do Christmas, we could have like a 10-foot tree, and like have a nice fire going.
When I was from like about 3 years old till about 12, or about maybe 8, we lived in an old Victorian that was from the 1800s, and it had a stove in the basement that heated the whole house. Really good too. Yeah.
But like, yeah, it's like so cool. It's just so. Sorry, I'm just thinking of it now because it burnt like in 2014. It like burnt up.
Oh, that's right. You were.
Yeah. So then it was like that knob and tube wiring.
Is that what got it too? Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
So we hired like a restoration company. So when the restoration company came in, they started fucking with shit. So the fire inspector really couldn't tell where it came from. He assumed.
Did you guys, or they were running like electricity through the wire and tube stuff? That's crazy. Even for 15 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Well, I guess it still happens. I know I have the stuff in my basement, but it's not hooked to anything. Although I've thought about using it for like communication lines, but.
Yeah. Well, like, yeah, is it similar to like, I have the electric fence in the yard?
Right. It's that stuff. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. do something like that. Keep your dog in the house, or freak your dog out every room. So turn it on and off in different rooms.
Yeah, I have it for him because like he can't run. Because if he runs, he is the smartest dog. He's a hound dog, so every once in a while he has to leave our yard so he can remark his territory in the neighborhood.
Mm.
He has this loop he does. I've gotten the dog police on me.
Oh, yeah. Well, that'll happen.
Yeah.
What did you think? Did you listen to the Fred Couples show today? Oh, you didn't listen to the interview. Did you listen to the calls and everything else?
I didn't get to I was just getting to the calls.
Mm. It was a great. It was a great show. I like. Dave.
Mike is more confident with Kirk now. Like he'll give it back a little sometimes.
Yeah. Well, that was a good. That's what I liked about Shattuck. I think that Shattuck, like, definitely comes from like a different. Perspective.
There's a different respect Kirk has for him because they come from the same high school. You could tell.
Yeah, I like that dynamic, and I guess that's what Kirk is putting together.
The same dynamic. I get that same vibe with Jared Carabas.
Yeah, the Jared Carabas thing was interesting that the guys didn't lean into it with Shattuck. They kind of left Shattuck out to hang on absolutely everything.
Dude, and I just had an idea spark in my head. We should read Jared Carabas's book.
Oh God, I don't think I could do that. Maybe, yeah, that's not terrible.
Maybe I could get him on.
Oh, okay, fine. It's not a terrible idea. That's the one. If this hat could talk, is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. But hit the post is in the chat, and so is in Hoodie.
Oh, good. Hi, Hoodie. I'm sorry, I haven't been in any of the chats. I like I said earlier in the show, I hurt my back, and
sorry, I gotta go get my dog. But hit the post that said Bio Bros.
Oh, Bio Bros. Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, I do too. I'm a Bio Bro.
Oh yeah, I like that. Yeah. Hold on. Oh, have to get the fans first. But again, like I said, the interview went really well, and if I can't figure out how to tack it onto the end of this show, I may just play it anyways, and then cut it up and put it into a special that we're gonna probably put together. Yeah, it's worth it in the sense that, like I said during the interview, my wife is in the field, you're in the field, I apparently am a client in the field, and
no, not a client. You're just fellow neurodivergent.
I'm in the spectrum. You're in the field, and then and I think it'll finish it up, and then we can start. So what do you want to do as far as that goes? Do you want to start Chaos, or do you want to like just pick a random
I want to do a little research. First, I want to find I'm talking about those books from the 80s, where Fabio would be on the cover.
That's exactly what I mean. Yeah, definitely. I want one of those. That's exactly what I thought of too. Yeah.
I'll do. Next time I'm at the supermarket, I'll pick one out for us.
Well, I can tell you right now, I do read the equivalent of that. There is an equivalent of that for men, for what I consider men, for my version of men. It's called the Destroyer series, and it is phenomenal.
Okay, I'm down. What about I thought you were gonna say Penthouse Forum.
No, that's it. Well, you need a book of that, but no, this is what I envision. These girly books, these smut books, is for girls to sort of fall into this fantasy. Well, for guys, the fantasy for me growing up was always like super agent, spy, ninja guy, and that's this guy. Like they did a movie about it actually called
really?
Adventures of Remo.
There it is. Look at you'll see. Sorry, Bio.
That's okay. I was going to tell everybody about my miracle berry tree.
Oh yeah, do it.
I did. I told you about it today. They're all over it. There's the one. Can you see the red? Oh, well, never mind. Anyways, it hasn't flowered. I've had it for almost 20 years. I think, and I was on the 420 show with the boys, and I think between being on the show and now this one flowering, I think I figured it out. It's the lights. I think I bought like LEDs that promulgate flowering as opposed to like leaf growing, which is great because now I have the miracle berries.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that'll be fun.
You're growing some other miracle berries too, right?
It's over there, and I think that's why those are flowering too. So when I went on the 420 show and I showed them my plants, well, it took me a while for it to click, but that's good. So now I just need to get ones that will just grow green because my morning glories, that thing I do where I wind it, it's dying because it's all flowering, and once it flowers, it dies. Like that's what they do. So I got to get it back. I got to get the right thing back to keep it growing, or else I'm just gonna let it die. I don't know.
Yeah, won't you miss it?
A little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew them from seeds.
Yeah, so they're like your pets.
I have some outside that survived. I do. Only because my son asked me to. So, it's funny. Yeah.
Do you have like a different relationship with each plant?
I just try and talk really... Yes, I do, actually. And it's... So, here's the thing, right? Like, some of them I'm a little bit rougher with, and some I try to talk nicer to. It just depends on how they're doing.
I think that's awesome.
I did it because I promised my son I would do it because he got really upset.
Do you do it in your head or do you talk out loud?
Both. Out loud to, but I try not to do it when people are paying attention. Like I don't do it in front of people or anything.
No, but that's cool.
I think it helps. I really do. I mean, like more in a big picture way, not in a.
Is it fun though making up the different characters?
That's exactly it. That's what I mean when I say it helps. I mean, like it helps me too, right? Like I feel bad when I move these things. I mean, like Is
there one you hate?
Yeah. I have the lemon tree. Oh, it's outside, but I have the lemon tree.
How cold is it where you are?
It's getting down into the 40s. In fact, I'm going to bring it in. Yeah. Probably this
lemon
week.
Tree. You're being like the guy from the book, letting your kid out in the cold to get pneumonia.
Man, so getting back to the book, it is the book club actually we're doing.
How far are you? What part are you on?
That's what I was about to say. So I'm finishing up the talks. I can't remember exactly the title, but it's like the toxic parenting. It's six. It's like 6-7 area, and I mean, between the last show and this show, like I've gone like around and around with this canner. Like he's like a villain. Well, he's mostly a villain.
So like I think it was okay. At the first maybe 20 years, but then when people started giving him like proof about whether shit with it, and he didn't believe him, that was like that's where I sort of like lose a little respect.
Oh yeah, or even worse than not believing him, he does believe him and then sneaks it into his works, his literature and stuff, changing things around, which is like just pity.
Like he's been saying it for years.
Yeah, and what I was trying to get to with our guest, and I didn't because I just didn't do it eloquently, but is sort of the stigma that he well,
he fucked with he
sets everything up. The way the book reads it, he sets everything up as this is a rare thing. These people, these kids, is a very small thing, and that mindset never lets go until you run into Rosa and sort of this movement where people are saying, "Well, it's not that uncommon, actually." And
the fucked up part about it is, like, he did it for his ego because he didn't want to admit he was wrong.
Yeah, it does start that does start sort of bleed into it, and it's ironic because his mentor didn't seem to have any ego at all. It's like they were Myers.
Oh yeah.
So it's like they worked really well together in that sense because
But Myers didn't call him out or tell him.
He didn't. Right.
He didn't do a good job supervising him.
Myers was Myers. Myers reminds me a little bit of Cavenshaw, in the sense that like he was interested in what he was interested in, and he wasn't even well. I guess with Myers, it seems like he just had trouble making it relate to the common man, whereas with Cavenshaw, just didn't give a damn about anybody but like his science.
He just wanted to do it.
I love that though. Boy, do I love that.
Don't you wish you could have done that? Like,
oh yeah. I just think I sit over there by. I have a new little closet. I didn't even realize it was a new little closet until earlier tonight. But it is. That's what it is. I was sitting over there taking something apart, going, "Oh man, I could just do this all day long." It's pretty funny. It is pretty funny, especially when you read this. Even still. You still are hearing like little stories that I'm like relating to as you go through the book.
I can't wait till you get to this guy that.
Well, I know that's what I was trying to get to. I just didn't make it. I got to be pretty close.
I mean, he's a cool guy. Like all this shit he created because he could and because he would like it was just like he created the sci-fi genre and ham radio hobby.
That's funny. I have
He's an autism god. Or just like a sort of quote unquote geek god.
Well, I can't. That's the next chapter. Is something about geeks, something about or not geeks, but something about it was science. It's something related to science. So I'm pretty close. But yeah.
So it's sort of like he went to a little more like nuanced, more in depth to like the highlights of these guys, like. Books, like he did with Clavendash at the start of the book.
Yeah,
this guy is sort of like how he's profiling them right now.
That's good. Well, I should have some time because we don't have a KMS show tomorrow, which is fine. Oh, another thing I wanted to get back to was just we should be grateful for what we get. Like that, we got a free show that I get to listen to at some point tomorrow, and he does do a lot, and doesn't get enough credit for it. That part.
I mean, he basically went like 4 days this week, right?
Right, exactly. And really, none of it was there wasn't a bad show. That hour and 45 minutes was different, but even in that,
it's entertaining because of the sort of like the highs and the lows.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true too. And again, like I said, I think the biggest news of this week is I think Shattuck's a hit. We'll see.
You have a man.
I do. A little bit.
No, who I think's a big fan of Shattuck too is Jon Stewart.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I bet you he is. He's a big talk radio guy. Anyways,
you guys could talk about Rush Limbaugh for hours.
Yeah. I like him. I think we will eventually intersect at some point. Well,
what else was going on? Just like
if we
you following any of the lead up to getting Freddie Couples, like the day before, Kirk was like really active in sort of talking about it.
Well, right, and I really couldn't follow because of all the names and stuff. Like, something in Twitter set it off, and then they were going back and forth in like a DM or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, I followed it close enough. The names and stuff just lose me both in golf and because I just don't follow Barstool closely, and I don't follow golf closely. So it was just they were rattling all those names off, and it's like,
sort of like when Kirk was talking to who was the guy from Beverly Hills 90210?
Beverly Hills. Oh right, yeah, right. The not Jason Priest.
I always think he looks like Elvis.
Oh God. Was he in something about Mary?
No, that's Matt Dillon.
Matt Dillon. I always think he looks like Matt Dillon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy. Anyways,
no, he was the goody in that show, Beverly Hills 90210, like the really nice guy.
Yeah, I still can't think of his name, but how they.
I know his name in the show is Brandon.
They were talking about stuff that like you just can't can't. It don't make any sense. As I didn't. You're too young for 90210, right?
My mom would watch it. I was probably 4 or 5.
Oh yeah, well yeah. I mean, like it was, and I'm actually too old for it. Actually, like it was really big. Well, I guess not because same age as Kirk, but yeah. Look again,
It was literally like Aaron Spelling, the guy that produced it.
Oh yeah,
on the head. It was a soap opera for everybody.
Oh yeah, yeah, and he was really good at that. He did Melrose Place as well, and he did a bunch of that stuff, and he was good at that stuff. I was watching TV, but I was watching like X Files, and Briscoe County Jr. and
like the X Files came at like, how old were you? 17, 18?
Even younger, yeah. Like I would say like 15 to 18, 19. Yeah, it was right in my wheelhouse. Absolutely.
Yeah, because you could understand all the concepts.
Oh yeah, it was great. And I was playing with that stuff already. Yeah, exactly. All that.
It was before the internet, really.
You know, it's so fun. I think about that a lot. Actually, I think I put together a tweet about it or something.
Think about how cool it would have been if Twitter was around when X Files is on.
Well, here's what it is, and I remember now, right? This is what I was telling my friend.
Time out. This is a concept we're working with. It's Biodude's tweets he never sent, but they were gonna be good tweets.
Oh yeah, and I have them, and they're all like they're in a thing. It's gonna happen too. Once I have enough time,
we find time to organize a little.
Organize and learn the StreamYard stuff. There'll be like a little list because some of them are really funny. This is more. I found this to be a little bit more poignant. But essentially, what I was trying to say, and now I can't remember it, but it was so I was telling my college friend, and it was this. So I don't know if I told you this or not, but like 7th and 8th grade, I was pulled out and homeschooled, and like
that's another thing I want to talk about.
No shit, right? Exactly. So we were going back and forth because my friend is very conservative. My college buddy is very conservative. He was at a party and they were talking about homeschooling, and his wife and friends like went off or something. Homeschooling would have been fine in 1993 if Biodude 1993 had the internet, because he would have had at least like 3 friends that were into the same shit, no matter how weird it was, and like, you know, like it would have been as normal as I needed. Biodude 1993 needed, but I didn't. Like I got trapped in a house with people that were less than college educated. That's not nice. They could see this someday. And the simple fact of the matter is that I needed more people, and then
you needed like to be taught to like
it was okay. Well, you know what's funny? You know the biggest thing that's coming out of the autism and everything else that is ringing really, really true is the stimming. You know, I was telling you about it in the sense that there was not a lot. I didn't remember a lot of it. It made my dad insane. He would go nuts with the clicks.
They talk about the masking, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly it.
The message you got was do not do that behavior. Ugh.
Exactly. Figure out a way to mask it. Yeah, exactly. And it was
It was a good mask.
It was intense too, because like those clickings and those things. So you know what those things are? Like, can you imagine Biodude 1993 having a fidget spinner, or like especially the box ones?
Like, cool, man. I do that too.
I was making those things, but I was getting in trouble for making them because they made clicking noises that were driving my dad nuts. You know?
Dude, have you ever tried one of those the pop boards they have now?
Oh, yeah. Well, my kids have those things. Yeah, like
one. You could
a lot of that is either out of my system or I just really developed like mechanisms to sort of hide it enough that almost nobody noticed it by the time I was in high school, until I got moved down to Kentucky my senior year, and then they all started to creep out again, like all the shaking and all the leg shaking and all that shit. So it's really wild to look at it through this prism now, right? I mean, it really is.
Is it refreshing?
It's helpful in the sense that, like, I feel like I have some answers that I've been looking for a long time.
Does it change your ways of sort of
Oh,
appreciating yourself?
I'm getting there. We're still working on that. But that's tough because they got a lot of other issues about appreciating
I thought
myself.
it was interesting. The point. Sorry, just speaking of this, it was interesting the point that she made about the importance of calling it a disability.
Yeah, yeah, because she could pick up on, and it's where I'm backing away from all that, and sort of just where I'm coming from, and you could tell she could pick up on it. I think I probably came out whatever I said triggered it, and she jumped right all over it, rightfully so. I guess it's tough. Like I said, I'm not. I didn't have a neuropsych done. I just had like people say it to me my whole life. I considered it a joke until I started reading this book, and then also my wife that's her specialty with her masters.
Right. I mean, and it's like I probably have like 10 years working with autistic people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's like
my thing is funny that I'm still struggling with it. Like, she still thinks it's funny that I'm still struggling with it.
You have to, I think, pay attention to your stems more. Because, like, I would argue that maybe the way you talk to your plants is a bit of a stem.
The way I talk to my who?
Plants.
Oh, my plants? Probably. I think I need to look at it a little bit more. I mean, like, let's not forget, like, I was trained to think that it was wrong. It was bad. It was driving everybody nuts. And it is. It does drive everybody nuts. I mean, that was the point. Like, it was driving people insane.
Yeah, but now we're in this sort of, like, I predict that maybe like the kids that are 13 and are getting more positive messages about being autistic, there will be more just acceptance in the workplace.
Well, I mean,
so they're growing up being taught that it's okay to be autistic and being assertive more.
So, just take away from this autism talk and just talk about how good is it to accept everything about everybody, though. Like at some point.
But when it's a brain sort of condition, in the sense of like how your brain is wired differently, and like these are traits that it's just a different way people are.
Rosa, and I think if it's okay to call her Rosa, I should have asked what she likes to be called. But anyways, I do think that she has a good point in that. Oh shit! I'm sorry. It's late. My back is killing me, and I'm losing my train of thought left and right.
Oh, it's fine, dude. I don't care.
Yeah, but I do feel bad about it because I've had a couple good points and I've lost them, and a lot of it is definitely. I mean, like I didn't really feel it, but in my back. I mean, but I think I'm going to be okay with it. I just think I need to get off of it. And we have a lot of show. I don't know that I'm going to be able to figure out how to tack on her interview, but I think
we can worry about that as long as it's saved.
It is saved. I saw it. I checked it. The first thing I did after I ended the broadcast was checked it, so it's there. And it's really good, and it speaks for itself. There's it doesn't need any editing. It just needs somebody to say at the beginning, which is, we missed. I didn't start recording until about 5 minutes in, but it's the perfect place. And we explained her website a couple times, and we talk about a great podcast that I'm going to start listening to called In Her Name, I think.
I don't know, but
again, like I said, I'm going on a little bit less sleep than I'm even used to, which is not a lot, and a lot of pain in my back.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but anyways, I think she said it was In Her Name, but I will find it. I will tweet it, and whenever the interview goes up, we'll make sure that we promote her. And we didn't get too much into her bio as far as it's like I think she writes for the Washington.
No, I think she wrote an article just.
Oh, was it just an article? Oh, I thought she was like some type of. Well, okay, yeah.
She runs a publishing company.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay.
I think she self-published the book.
Okay. All right. Well, she is. Oh, she was really nice and generous with her time, and I got the feeling like we might be able to have her on again if
Yeah, if
we
we
if we
wanted to,
here for
yeah.
the festival or something.
Well, like I think yeah, I think she is always posting about, and I give her a lot of credit because it's mostly from autistic writers. So
Mhm.
she only will post certain articles by autistic people.
Yeah, yeah. I'm interested in that too. Like
I saw
learning.
your ears perk when she said she wrote an article for the Washington Post. They went.
Yeah. So I'll have to check all that out. Thank you, Sig, for another good show and getting the guest. That's all Sig, to say the least. He's the only one with the courage. Oh, you know what we do?
Oh,
I
I
do
like that. Thank you. That's such a compliment. The
I do
courage.
mention. I say your name. You say your name too.
Yeah. So
So
let's take a peek at it.
yeah, I was gonna say it's up there, and that we will wait on that, and I'll let you take a look at it.
Yeah. There might. Yeah, I might want to. Sorry.
Yeah, that's a good point though, and I'm glad we talked about it. Uh, I'm gonna let you go though tonight. I'm gonna go lay down.
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
Thank you.
We'll talk soon.
All right. Yeah, go.